Hey gang, Matt from Easy Breakouts, about to start another current market trend review, but before I do, just wanted to mention that if you find this video helpful, be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. Also, you can view additional videos by visiting our YouTube channel. Alright, let's hop into our analysis. So folks, a little bit of a pullback across the board. You can just see it here, right? Dow, S&P, Nasdaq, Russell, all negative on the day. Even on the oil as well, we're seeing a bid develop into the oil. It looked like it was trying to stage another breakout. That kind of faded away on the oil inventories today. That traded down to the 5250s. We saw the golds hanging out on these lows, and the only thing to catch a little bit of a bid today was the bonds, which, post-election rally, that's had a big sell-off. So a little bit of a bounce here on the bonds as we've approached some support levels. But folks, just taking a look across the board, kind of a somewhat soggy day as we're heading into holiday trade at this point. Let's take a look at the S&P 500s on a daily chart. And again, folks, this is where we start our analysis every single day. Yesterday, we talked about just the earliest signs that maybe it was trying to resolve this little bit of a pennant that we were forming here on the S&Ps. A little bit clearer on an intraday chart here. Let's just draw it in. So this is what we were looking at, that pennant on the S&Ps. On Tuesday, that popped above it, gapped up, and kind of just went sideways all day. And you can see today, again, just very undynamic action here, kind of basically closing in on the lows over the last 2 days here. So I don't really see any sort of tell here on the markets. And again, what I'd be looking for a sign of strength, trade up and over these highs, like the 2272s or so in that region. But then if you take a step back, one of the things I'm going to be watching for is if the market does have a little bit of a pullback here, how it behaves right at the 2250s, and then most importantly, how it behaves right down here at the 2215s. Those are going to be the two places I think might give us an early indication of the health of the market, if it's deteriorating or maybe if it needs a little bit more of a break. We've been on a super run since the election here, and a lot of stocks are extended. So I've been watching these two support levels again, 2250 and 2215s on the S&P. As we move over to the Nasdaq here, folks, the Nasdaq as well, just coming off of fresh new all-time highs on the Nasdaq on Tuesday, or I should say Wednesday rather, that basically it went sideways trade. So folks, we're still a bit in this balance. We have not really been able to break out. Here's that bit of a balance right there, right? So have not been able to break out of that yet. Just like analogous to the S&Ps, we're looking up and over like the 2275s in that region. We'd be looking for basically up and over these 5490s, almost at the 5500 evens on the Nasdaq Composite. That would be a nice sign there. One thing I've also been keeping an eye on, the Nasdaq generally over the last 6-7 weeks has exhibited some relative weakness. We've seen some of the bigger cap techs like the Amazon, the Facebooks, having a little bit of trouble getting any sort of momentum going. However, underneath the surface, I am noticing a couple of big cap tech stocks holding up. One of them is Alphabet, ticker GOOGL, right? Alphabet, kind of forming a little bit of this cup with handle, maybe a little bit of a double bottom with handle at this point. Again, it's got to break out, right? It's got to break out up and over this handle to confirm some of the strength that we're seeing. Another one is like Netflix. That one is trying to break out as well. Seems to be encountering quite a bit of resistance up here at these like 127s, 128s. It could be that it just needs to break out of these all-time high, or not all-time, but these recent highs up near the 129s. All-time highs are up near the 133s. Obviously it would be good if we could break out of that as well. But it seems to be encountering a bit of resistance and might need just a little bit more sideways work on the Netflix. And then Microsoft too was another stock that's been holding up very nicely here, kind of forming a bit of a high handle. And even like the likes of Facebook, even though they have been weaker, seems to have slowed the selling just a little bit. Maybe it can start working on a right side of a base here. It needs to first get above these series of resistances, which also you can see coincides with that 50-day average. So a pop above those levels would be healthy for Facebook. Amazon as well, same thing, right? Coming above these levels right here, right around the 790s, would get it above the 50-day average, would get above some prior resistance levels. I think that would help out the health of the Nasdaq tremendously. All right, as we move over to some of the external markets here, taking a look at the crude charts. So we saw the crude here selling off on the oil inventories on Wednesday, and just taking a look at this bigger picture, I think, as I've been mentioning, as long as we maintain these lows right around the 49.20s, I think we're still poised to try and break out higher. If you start to take out 49.20s, I think it puts into question this attempted breakout up and over the 52s. Taking a look at the bonds here, the ZNs, right? Big sell-off after the election. And it's interesting where it found a little bit of support here. And we've been mentioning on previous videos here how that support goes all the way back, into 2012, 2013. There's some prior lows in this area. And all a low means is that sellers were coming in, pushing prices down, and then boom, they hit a wall of buyers, which basically causes the price of whatever it is, whether it's gold, crude, bonds, stocks, it causes the price to rally. And so what you see here is there's a series of buyers that came in and supported it back in 2012 and 13. Seems like there's a little bit of support here. This has stopped the selling so far. Now, whether these buyers continue to support it at these levels, or maybe if the conditions have changed, these buyers may be looking to exit. We'll have to see down the road, but for right now, the bonds are stopping right at a prior technical level here. And then on the gold charts here, we're looking at potentially gold. I would think it looks like maybe 1050s might be a potential area for the gold to test, as it has failed thus far to materialize any sort of bounce to try and reclaim, even like the 1200 number. I think that's an important level for us to reclaim. So until we can get back above 1200s, folks, it seems like the draw on the gold here seems to be pulling it down to the 1050s. Now, folks, in this holiday action, I know that we've been talking about the trade has been a little bit lower, a little bit slow in senses, but it's not to say that there's not opportunities out there. We had talked about a couple of days ago how we took this PI trade. That one worked out nicely. We're still trying to string it along. Again, this is highly profitable. We've already gotten 2 scale-out targets hit on this thing, so we're just kind of stringing along the last bit on this PI. But I was just watching a couple of other stocks here, like this MB Mindbody had a nice pop today. So even though there's slow trades, folks, there's opportunities developing. There's things that are setting up. You got to be in there watching the best relative strength stocks, because what's going to happen is, let's say that this holiday trade, resolves itself come next year. All of these stocks are going to be setting up in bases, and you want to know which ones have been holding up the best, even in soft holiday trade. And those are the ones you're going to be actively searching for new entries, new setups. But other than that, folks, wishing everyone a great trading day ahead, and join us for our next market trend review. Take care, everyone. Hey, by the way, if you haven't done so already and you're liking the analysis, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And as a reminder, you can also view additional videos by visiting our YouTube channel. Or if you'd like to find out more about Easy Breakouts, go ahead and click that Show More right above the comments section to find out more about Easy Breakouts. But other than that, have a great trading day ahead, and may the trend be with you. Take care, everyone.